So you ready to have fun today? We're going to have a picnic afterwards, you know. I hope you know that. So stay. We've got some good food cooking already, so it's being prepared for you. So 3 guys had been out all night drinking, totally under the influence. They're trying to drive home in the wee hours of the morning, and they're just weaving all over the place, driving slow. So the blue light comes up behind them. They know they're in trouble, and one of them starts crying. We're going to jail, we're in trouble. And the other one says, wait a minute, I got an idea. There's beer bottles rolling all around in the car. He says, grab a bottle, peel off the label, and put it on your forehead. They did it, nothing better to do. So they all peel off a label, put it on their forehead, and blue light is still going. They finally get pulled over. They sit in the car. The officer gets out and walks over and taps on the window, and he shines his light in, and as soon as the window goes down, he can smell the alcohol and says, you boys are obviously under the influence. I need you to get out of the car slowly and come out and line up around the front. And so they all stagger out of the car and go to the front of the car. The police officer is standing looking at them, and he shines the flashlight up on their foreheads. He said, it's obvious that you are under the influence, but it's not obvious what is on your forehead. And one of them spoke up and said, but officer, we're not under the influence, we're on the patch. I hope you got it and you're not just laughing to make me feel good. We're on the patch. All of us are under the influence every day, every minute, every breath. You know, the influence of what motivates you to do what you do. What influences and causes are in your life that drive you to act and say and be who you are? What does the presence and the purpose of your life energy serve? See, the issue is not whether or not we are under the influence, but the issue is which influence will we choose as the guiding principle of our life. Because we have a choice of what influence will govern our lives, guide our heart, and impact our behavior. So I'd like for you to affirm that together with me now. I have a choice of what influence will direct my life, guide my heart, and impact my actions. You know, the word influence means the capacity to have an effect upon or to be affected. It is a power or compelling presence that affects a person, a thing, or a course of events. Often the followers of Jesus were accused of being under the influence because of the way they acted, and they acted very strange. But they were clear that they were under the influence of the Holy what? Spirit. The Holy Spirit. From the Gospel of John chapter 8, Jesus said to them, if you could comprehend that God was your Father, and if the Spirit of God was influencing you, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and have come from God. I have not even come on my own initiative, but God sent me, just as God sent you. I am under the influence of God the Father. If you could realize God were your Father and you were under the influence of the Father, it would be absurd to suppose that you would persecute me. The children of the same Father should not hurt or destroy one another. Which influence we choose as the guiding principle and presence of our life is perhaps one of the greatest gifts of our life, because we do have the capacity to make that decision. We each reach a point in our spiritual evolution where we must make the choice for ourselves. If you remember in the Old Testament, the children of Israel had been in bondage and they needed to leave, and Moses was called up to be their leader. Moses represents the leader within all of us that leads us into new levels of expressing the truth of who we are. But the time came when Moses was complete, and the next person that came up was Joshua. And Joshua is that part of us that asks the question, this day, who will you serve? Joshua said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, the law of love, the God of my being. Each of us are being invited to serve the law of love, the highest divine guiding Christ presence force of each and every one of our lives. Because whatever influences us, we are serving its purpose. Whatever influences us, we are serving its purpose. And everything that motivates us or drives us, we can trace it to one or two what I call energies. It's the energy in the presence of love, which is life-affirming, which is seeking to be the highest and best you can and truly desires the highest and best for all others. Or the energy that's driving us is what? Fear. Fear. A Course in Miracles says that those are the two. And really, they're not too different, but they're two ways of expressing the one power and the one presence. When we're in the space of love, we know that all is well. We know that all are from the one Father, the one God source. When we're living in fear, we put ourselves at odds with one another. So today I want to introduce to you three mudras. A mudra, M-U-D-R-A, comes from the Buddhist tradition. A mudra is a symbolic gesture or movement which focuses or directs energy. It focuses or directs energy. It's a hand movement or a body movement. And the purpose of using this is because it helps you break out of one way of being. It moves you from one state of being to another. How many of you attended my workshop when I came here for my tryout weekend? Quite a few of you. So some of you are going to remember when I did, that was then, this is now. Many of you have reported that to me. Now you come back to me and I'll say, well, didn't you used to do it this way? Yeah, but that was then, this is now. So that's an example of a mudra, and it will help you in your life when you get stuck. You can literally stop and say, wait a minute, that was then, this is now. So turn to your neighbor and say, I'm glad you're here today, but this is for me. I'm glad you're here today, but this is for me. So tune up. This is for each and every one of you. So the first mudra. The influence, this comes from Eleanor Roosevelt. The influence you exert is through your own life, and the influence in your life is what you yourself become. The first thing all of us are being called is to be led and guided by love. Love. God is love. We say that 100 different ways. So the first thing we want to know is, at all times and in all ways, am I being guided by love? And how do I get tripped up over that? There's a joke about a man who was a young man who was living at home with his mother, and it was Sunday morning, and she went in to wake him up and said, it's time to get up. You need to get ready for church. And he said, I am not going today. I don't want to go today. And she said, yes, you are. You have to go today. And he said, I don't want to go today. Give me 2 reasons. And she said, okay, I'll give you 2 reasons you're going today. And she said, but why do you not want to go? And he said, well, I'll give you 2 reasons. I don't want to go because I don't like those people and they don't like me. And she said, well, you still need to go to church today, and I'll give you 2 reasons you need to go. The 2 reasons are you're 49 years old and you're the minister. I thought you'd like the patch joke better. You know, sometimes we just have to get over ourselves. And so the first mudra is, here and now, I get over myself. Love is leading me on. Now watch me again. The words are here, but the motions are important. Here and now, I get over myself. Now bring your hands back together. Love